So obviously, first question, Coach, and it's a dollar in the jar for me. How does it feel to be in the Final Four heading to Irvine, California?
Exciting. That's just the word. The team is pumped. We've worked all season for this moment, and actually, we've been working for 4 years in the UPSL to get to this moment. So it's we're taking it all in, the entire experience. We're, like I said, motivated. We want this one. Um, we've had a very dominant run in the Northeast, and now we just want to cap it off with trying to bring this one home.
And if memory serves, it was a 10-match regular season in division and conference and stuff. You win 6 of the 10 there, and you've just gone on this run ever since. Can you break down what the keys of success have been in this run, or is it just it's like wash, rinse, repeat? We're going to get out of bed, we're going to do our thing, and at the end of it, we're going to do a full 90 minutes. What was the secret?
No, I mean, the thing is like I'm learning from past seasons. What it was because we all also compete into getting ourselves into the U.S. Open Cup. So this year, I mean, we qualified last time around, and we went in this one, and we also qualified. But what happens is it becomes a very extraneous endeavor for a team. So two things we did: we rested up in key moments, and that helped a lot. Um, Also, bringing our star striker up to speed to our way, we had to learn his way, and the team adapted, and he adapted to us, and that helped us a lot. Junior Rosero, because we lost last season. We had a tremendous loss when we lost El Torito Rances Renal, who had led the UPSL in scoring. So shout out to him. He's unable to still make it for this run. But that's been our thing. The formula has been proper resting. Um, we even the last game of the season, I rested a lot of key players because we were exhausted. It was a long season and a lot of qualifying matches that we had to go through. You had to go through um, 3 or 4 qualifying matches for the U.S. Open Cup, and it's not easy. So that helped.
You look at your scoring, and it's been brought to you, I guess, by the number 4. I guess the stat is you hit 4, then you're going to be getting the Duke at the end of 90 minutes. You mentioned getting everyone on the same page where Junior is concerned, and I know that you have athletes that are coming at it from a bunch of different ways. You have, if I'm correct, you have Colombian influence, you have Ecuadorian influence, you have Guatemalan influence, you've got Salvadoran influence. How do you combine all of that to where they're all on the same page? Because I imagine that they're coming at it from different angles and different ideas. How do you get that Central American and the CONCACAF / CONMEBOL mix? How do you mesh it together so you end up with this great recipe that you got so far? How difficult is
I,
it?
it is difficult. I won't tell a lie. It's not. They come from a different backgrounds and styles of playing, and getting them to mesh is one of the hardest things as a coach. And thanks to my coaching staff and myself, I guess we got them. But it's more credit to the players actually, learning to feed off each other, learning to trust each other, and actually, believing in the system. And I have to give them credit for that. Like I told them early on, we're always going to maintain our attacking style, but we do have to try to actually, stay focused and not lose sight of the fact that we have a player, a Junior Rosero, which we have to definitely try to give him the ball as much as possible so he can get as many shots on the ball. So that's been the key here. And I think every player understood that, bought into it. And then it's our stingy defense. Everything starts from our defense.
And I'm noticing a lot of ones and zeros defensively, especially in the postseason if there's not a shootout. So winning 6 in a row, after the 2-0 loss to AFC Academy back in 10th month October, middle of October. So you're running 6 in a row in 9 weeks. So it's 4 against Red Hook, 1-0 against New York Empire, 2-1 against Braveheart, 4-1 against Beach Street, 4-2 against Cap City, and then 4-1 against Chicago Nation. You mentioned that defense. For those that haven't had the chance to drift in and see you so far this season, who are some of your stalwarts this year?
I mean, it's we have our backs in the back. Our center backs are solid. We have a rotation of 4 solid center backs in the back. We also have our right back and our left backs are just amazing players, athletes, able to contribute and join the attack, but they're very defensive minded and just don't stop, and they're relentless. It's been a big thing. I've always tried to have ball control, and it's easier when you have a defense in the back. In that game with Empire, put it this way, we were down to 9 men after the 2 reds that we incurred in that game. Crazy, wild game. I encourage you to go see that game. Um, and then at least we had practiced that kind of scenario where we're 1 man down. I never practiced it with 2 men down, but and they executed. They executed. They knew how to stand and position themselves, and that was the key. Like that win was a grind, and then Braveheart, a perennial power here in the Northeast, has been us and them like battling all the time, and they came hard, and it's like the Northeast is pretty strong. I had to say that.
You mentioned your defense, and we've talked about the marquee guy when you're talking about junior. Obviously, that creates some positional gravity. And I imagine that Miami United, they've been watching tape, they've been watching matches and things like that. They know what junior's up to. So if they're going to bracket junior, or if anyone has tried to bracket junior this season, who have been those other players that have stepped up for you offensively to pick up the slack when he's being double teamed, triple teamed, shut down, fouled, what have you? Who have been some of those other folks that we can?
I mean, that's the greatness of our system. Like, we've learned to score when he's double team or even triple team. We have Restrepo Ruiz, amazing outside, midfielder, comes in, can score. He takes players on one. We have Rodrigo Descalzo, again, another winger coming in, can play the 9 as well. We have players like our midfielder, who's a 10, can come out of nowhere. Milton Campos makes runs up. We have Matthews Cariel, another one who can go in. And the good thing is, and then we have Oscar Rivas. All of them have an amazing shot, so we can shoot the ball. So if you want to double team or triple team, a lot of teams have taken that lesson of all my players can come in and step up, and the system is built that way. So we'll adjust, we'll figure out what they're doing, and then we come back at it from it's already gotten into their system where if this is how they're marking, recognizing the marks on junior and saying that, Chicago, for whatever reason, left them alone and he scorched them. So I guess I think they were covering the others and forgot about him, and he scorched them.
So how much tape have you seen on Miami United, or are you at this point, are you and the staff just like, nah, we'll focus on ourselves, we'll see what they do, and then we'll adjust in match? Where are you right now?
No, we've been studying them. We've seen every game that's been available to watch. So no, we don't do things that way. We obviously watch. We see they're a dangerous team, very, very seasoned, and very much know how to play the game. A lot of them are Argentinians, South American style. They know how to play the game, and we definitely know their threats. And have been studying them well, and we have prepared for them. So we do that, and then we just want to do our thing as well, impose ourselves, um, see what happens.
How many players are going on this trip from one end of the U.S. to the other?
23.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
23.
that's a lot of folks to have for a national semifinal and a final that you would imagine if you need. You get out of the first one, you're going to try to look at folks that are as healthy as they can be. Make sure that you're good with your substitutions and such.
Hmm.
What has this run meant to Renegades fans and to everyone that is close to the program? What has this run meant?
I mean, it's been what we've all dreamt of, when we first started. The work. It's New York Renegades FC is really a family thing. It's been one of those things that was born. The name was given by my wife, so she's heavily involved, and my family, my kids, heavily involved. Justin actually plays as well in England. He's studying over there too. And my youngest runs the media with our production team. So it's a family affair. And my sister out there, even though she lives in Florida, heavily involved. So it's been a tight knit thing. And I guess my sister-in-law as well. So the organization is ran that way. And then my coaches, I have amazing coaches, assistant coaches, and such, and the academy, and we've all worked to this end, to get us there. But again, it's always the players, like buying into the system, um, getting them to believe in themselves, and really pushing for this. Those who have been with us, like Johannes Alexander, since the beginning and formation of the team, Matthews Carriel. We have a lot of guys who've been here since the beginning of the birth of Renegades. And, our mission was always, hey, we want to compete for national championships. I mean, we competed in the underground, I guess was what you can call it, outside of the U.S. Soccer, and won a lot there, local leagues, Sunday leagues, and stuff. And, we want to also make that statement that a lot of talent comes out of there. I mean, U.S. Soccer has a lot to learn, to me. It overlooks some talent, and they're too much into the MLS next, and you look how many pros come out of there. It's not really, I can tell you that in the UPSL, you have probably more players going pro if you've been there and you see it, just because of the level of competition, the competency of the coaching. And it's really a lot of the UPSL is based on a love of the game, so I think that has to be taken into consideration.
So, how did the boss come up with Renegades?
Um, well, she called me a renegade, I guess,
Oh.
always changing up and being somebody who always went against the grain. I obviously come from a background of, always loved the game, and I used to play it for fun. I even ran something called Soccer for Fun, where I used to play, Sunday league player myself. And then, she just said that, hey, why don't you, when I was coming up with a name, I'm going to go into this and be more, I want to form a team. And it's just first thing she said, yeah, why don't you call it the Renegades? And it stuck. That's how the name came out.
All right. Matchup is against Miami United, and it is late night East Coast time. Do you anticipate? How are you going to adjust to playing in the Pacific time zone? It's scheduled for 11 o'clock on Friday night. I mean, that's nap time. That is, that's time to hit the sack and hit the alarm, set the alarm for like 9:30. How are you going to adjust to that late night
Well,
kickoff?
that's a very good thing, and we did address that. So what we did is we started having our late practices late. So we would start our practices at 10 and end at 11:30, or sometimes 10:30, and go all the way to midnight, just to get the body accustomed to performing. The other thing is those that could have already arrived in California.
Okay.
The rest of us who had to work today, are leaving, tomorrow. We're leaving very early in the morning, 7 a.m. flight from New York.
Mm-hmm. So I imagine you're going to be sleeping from one end of the planet to the other before you land.
Yes.
You flying into John Wayne? Or you flying into LAX?
No, LAX. We're flying
Okay.
into LAX. We just found that like there was more direct flights, and one that left very early, so that's why we chose LAX.
Okay. Just wanted to double check to make sure that everybody knew what your travel plans were and the itineraries you get ready for the national semifinals here in the UPSL. Coach, can't thank you enough. Night
Thank
before
you.
hopping on a massively early flight to go out there for the national semifinals in Irvine. Good luck against Miami United. We'll be following along, and obviously we'll be watching. Thanks for the education for our audience here with the UPSL Final Four.
Thank you. You got it. Thank you. Appreciate the invite. Thank